Hey guys, this is Jessica Giovine from the Jess Press podcast. You might follow me at the Jess Press on Instagram, sharing my calligraphy and invitation designs for weddings and events. I'll be chatting with other small business owners about life, from growing their biz to mental health to where to get your favorite coffee. Tune in every episode as we laugh our asses off and make fun of ourselves while lifting each other up.
Hey guys, it's me, Jess. Just a little tidbit of information before we get into today's episode. We had a little bit of echoing coming in from our guest Andy's headphones and didn't realize that's apparently a thing. So you're going to hear a little echo when he talks in certain parts of the episode, but please tune in. This is one of the best episodes I've ever recorded and really important. So enjoy. What up, everybody? It's Jess. Welcome to the Jess Press podcast. Back again with another small business owner this week. I'm so excited to introduce to everyone Andy Stern, a.k.a.
Hi.
the mayor, brand president of Rumble Boxing. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so thrilled. Can you tell everyone where to follow you on social?
At Andrew G. Stern. And you'll see air quotes the mayor. That's the gimmick. That is the persona.
Yeah, can we talk about this for a second? Where does this come from?
This came from, if we're going to go way back, it came from 6th grade, 7th grade. I was Mayor Shin in Arsenic. Damn, I'm butchering the play. And I was getting a haircut. And my haircut was like, yo, you're the mayor. Because that was my character.
Okay.
And it fell off a while. Then I became the professor when I created my first concept.
Okay.
And then fast forward to Rumble Boxing. And when we hit uppercuts for speed, I dubbed it Uppercut City. And someone's like, yo, you're the mayor. I'm like, I'm back in office.
I like it. I mean, it sticks, right?
It works.
Awesome. Well, I always ask everyone because I love coffee, and it doesn't have to be coffee if you're not a coffee person. But I always ask everyone where you get your favorite coffee locally or your favorite drink of choice.
Don't sleep on McDonald's coffee.
I literally just had this conversation. I can't believe you just said that.
Don't sleep on it.
It's like very good.
It is. I remember, geez, you want to talk about like where we came from?
Yeah.
I remember in my early fitness days, and this might sound ridiculous, but scarcity mindset where I was, that's $1.07 that I was reluctant to spend on myself, even because, you know, when you get paid as a trainer, you get paid per class. So financially, I said, well, the more I spend, the less I make and the less I have. And I think about that all the time because I'm like, I didn't want to give myself that small joy.
Mm-hmm.
And $1.
I know, which it's not $1 anymore.
No,
it's still only like, I think it's less than $3, but still, I understand.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, like that little, like that would make you so, like give you just so much joy. And you're like, but do I do it for myself? Things I deal with every day. Get it. My son is a big McDonald's person, so we're at the drive-thru a lot after school, and the school just ended. So I usually get a latte, or I mean, I feel like at McDonald's just like a coffee with caramel, and I'm like, this is people sleep on this. Like it's better than like Dunkin' Donuts. Like I really think so. We love it. Okay, well. I literally wrote down like so many things. I'm not even really sure where to start, but besides Rumble, that's obviously your biggest thing, of course. But I also saw on your Insta that you're also involved in a margarita company.
Sip Marks.
Yeah. And then you're American Gladiators.
I was on American Gladiators.
My husband watches that. And I was like, what? I was like cracking up.
Experience.
That's so cool. Oh my God. How did that happen?
We were on a cruise vacation, and it's funny when you go on a vacation with a 2-year-old. My daughter was 2 or 3 at the time, and it's a great idea to go on a cruise because you think it's going to be fun, and it was a lot of fun. However, the kid goes to bed at like 7:30, so then me and Julia are sitting on the balcony, like, what do we do for the next 5 hours? So we're playing cards, and I checked my phone, and it was like a random message from a casting agent. And I was like, oh, American Gladiators. I got all excited because, like, as a fan growing up, I was like, this is amazing. Yeah. it went dark for about a year.
Mhm.
So then I'm like, all right, either everything worked out for me, the show, and then lo and behold, they hit me back up. They're like, hey, we're moving forward. We'd love to have you. I had the conversation with the talent agent, and sure enough, I was on a plane to France almost a year ago to date, and
That's
stayed
so
2
wild.
weeks. It was
Oh,
crazy.
God. How cool. Like I was like, I have to ask you before I forget. Cause once we like start talking
Coolest
about other
experience of
things.
my life.
Yeah, that is so cool. So cool. All right, Rumble. I don't even know where to start with this. Like, so you started as a trainer and like now you have an entire empire that you're involved with. I mean, like that's insane. Like that's amazing. And it's so funny because this is so random. I quit my city job 8 years. I used to work in Manhattan. I did
Congrats.
the whole, thank you, 8 years ago. And one of the girls that I worked with is now like an owner of her own Rumble in Long Island somewhere. And
Giovine?
no, Roseanne.
Roseanne. Oh, yeah, she's at Plainview, I believe.
Okay. It was so
That's
random.
so
We're
funny.
still like Instagram friends. And I was like, she came up and I saw Rumble boxing and I was
That's awesome.
like, this is so random. But it was just like,
Yeah.
you guys, you're everywhere. I mean, you're literally worldwide. When I was looking just in New Jersey locations everywhere, and then I went on the website and immediately the first thing that came up was like all California locations. And I was like, oh my God, they're really like everywhere. So like, how did we, shift from
Get
like,
here.
what got you into fit? Like, why is fitness so important to you? And like, and I'm sure that's a loaded question.
It is. I took my first group fitness class in the basement of a no-frills campus. Let me reframe that.
Yeah.
I took my first group fitness class in the basement of a college dorm room at Monmouth University.
Oh,
And this class just lit something inside of me that I said, I wanted this. And again, this was my first taste, and it had no frills, right? I'm literally in a cinder block, no music type vibe. Like, but she just, teacher's name was Mary, lit something inside me. And I went home. I was an RA at the time. I went home. I'll never forget, it was winter break. And I said, I could do this. I could write programs. I was completing P90X, like the time of my life. I love that product. And I went to the RD's, Jim Pilar, who's a mentor to me, great friend, still at Monmouth University. Give a lot of flowers to him because he helped me launch curriculum at Monmouth University. And that was my first product. That was a 2 DVD concept. But before it was even a DVD, it was just an idea. I teach people how to work out. So that was great. I got through a lot of certifications. I was just in the books studying on group fitness. And because I wasn't an exercise major, I was a physics major. So I had the idea of creating P90 for the college student. And I knew go into my math. The MBA program at Monmouth is fantastic. And I met up with Professor Buzzo. And God, that guy just helped me tremendously as a young professional. He allowed me to become an advisor for one of his entrepreneurship classes. And they took the concept to product. So we put it on DVDs. I toured 20 different states and schools and, selling this DVD product. It was at that point I realized I either double down on this product and go digital, which DVDs at the time were starting to go obsolete, or I double down on myself. And I took the latter. I went to Orange Theory, started coaching there, became a head coach there. I was teaching all over New Jersey. I was teaching 5 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. and 7 days a week. And at that point, I was like, this is killing me. So if we now really start to fast track the story, I'm burning out 30 plus classes a week and making hustler money. And if anybody doesn't know what that means if you don't work, you don't make money. And so it was tiring. And so at that point, I actually re-enrolled back in school for my doctorate in physical therapy. And I didn't stop doing what I was doing. So I was teaching classes. I was substituting business classes in my high school and hometown. I was selling sneakers on the side. And I was selling supplements. I was doing anything I can as a hustler.
Uh-huh.
And everything was legal, by the way.
I get it. I understand.
Asterisk that. But I was just, I gravitated towards that microphone and inspiring and educating people. And I try to tell people that I'm not just going to teach you, I'm going to try to remind you of who you are. And if I can create that spark in you and it trickles out into your real world, in your family life, in your professional life, and make you better, stronger, physically and financially, that's my goal.
I might cry. I'm not kidding. Seriously, things like that hit. I've been in the depths of really bad mental health, and actually fitness besides therapy, working out for me, it's dance. I love dance, the music, and actual going to classes. And I have found there's instructors who will take a moment at the end of class to be you took time out of your day to get here, and start talking about all the things that we go through in life. And I'm why doesn't every instructor, by the way, talk about that is so important. That's what got me into it and back. And I know community is such a big deal too. And you saying about the spark, I feel it takes very specific and special people to get you to that place mentally where you're this is actually going to impact my life and change me. And I just love that. And I'm not a fitness guru at all, and I'm 4 months postpartum.
Yeah.
But so thank you. Yeah, I have 2 boys now.
It's awesome.
But I started literally when I got the okay, and I had a C-section both times, but when I got the okay that I could start moving again, I immediately after 6 weeks went back to dance because mentally it just
that's your space.
Yeah. And it just, even though I was going really slow and everything like that, it's, and not everyone feels this way, but to me, it's just so important. And I understand.
It is important. It's incredibly important for longevity. And I know that's a buzzword in this industry nowadays, but how about just living longer? And the mental health component of, for what we do at Rumble, we do half boxing and half strength training for those that don't know. And this year we've been really leaning on the word release. And it's been a big campaign, but it's always been that. It's been a space that you can come release whatever you don't want to carry home with. And we all, what I love about not just Rumble, fitness in general, group fitness, every person that comes in that room has a story. Every person is in a fight. And you don't know it. And so every time I put on that headset, I remind myself that they're coming here, they're showing up, they're paying money and time, whatever I have going on. And I've taught classes. Man, I remember my mom was going through cancer. I was sleeping in the hospital. I'd wake up, take the train from New Brunswick, get to Manhattan and teach. And I was on basically zero sleep. And emotionally, I was a mess. But my framework was still the same. Somebody in that room needs this more than I do. And it helped a lot of people. At the same time, it helped me. And I think that's
for sure
one of the best parts about the industry is no matter what circumstances you are going through, when you're in that space, there is that feeling of we're all in this together, regardless of when you feel isolated in that problem alone. You're not. We're all having problems.
Because mental health wise, and like you just said, when you're in it, you can't see out of it, and you completely feel like you're alone. You think no one else is going through this. How am I ever going to get through this?
Totally.
And you're not at all. I actually just did an episode on mental health and I'm sure because you're local too in Jersey, there's been a lot of loss recently, especially locally. And I know multiple people that have lost their battles with depression and stuff. And it just becomes I feel more than ever, it's just happening. And I'm we need to talk about this because it's not okay. And I feel that's so hard. And kind of because by the way, anyone listening, we have not met. So to kind of tell you a little about me, and I know we have this unfortunately in common. And I know you lost your dad too, but I lost my mom to cancer also. And I lost her 3 weeks before my first son was born. So I went in, and then I had an emergency C-section and got really sick. I was in the hospital. So and my son was in the NICU. And so I went into this the biggest grief of my life, then adding more grief onto it while also becoming a mom, telling myself I needed to just like move past it to become a mother. And it was just like insane.
It's heavy.
So heavy. And like, then I lost my grandpa, my mom's dad, 6 months later. And then postpartum, I mean, you have a wife, you have kids, like, is like one of the hardest seasons. And
Because you also, not to cut you off, but and this was a very big part for me. I grieved myself. I lost, as when I became a parent, it's the best thing in the world.
Yeah.
I love it. In the first 6 months of Presley, I was, and this was right after COVID too, but I was longing for who I was and the freedom that I had and the adolescent fun and just careless behavior. And now I'm like, I have to keep this thing alive every hour of the day.
Literally, yeah.
You know, and like that was a big parallel to my loss grief of my parents. I lost a little bit of who I was.
Absolutely.
And I really, people don't understand that when they're not a parent, because they're like, it's hard in the terms of responsibilities. It was a lot more harder psychologically for me to understand that the Andy of 2016, 17, 18 is at the moment not here.
Yeah, absolutely. No, literally. And it's something I still struggle with. And I try to just like remind myself that like like she's still here, but like we're different now. And like we've evolved even in like the saddest of ways. And like how you're saying with like already changing, becoming a parent, like I couldn't even grieve just by myself. Like I didn't even have the time to just like not care about anything else, not worry about anything else. I had to like take care of a child. And that's like, and people don't know, you know, even my dad, who I love, but he was like, okay, you're a parent now. Like, you know, and I was like, I don't have time to grieve this. And then like literally I was 9 months postpartum and everything, I work in weddings. So like November wedding slowed down, everything hit me and I like spiraled. And like I had an intrusive thought for like, which everyone has intrusive thoughts, but like I guess I like really never paid attention and it really hit. And it was about like my son, which is like very common in postpartum. And it affected me so drastically that I developed OCD from it. I still have OCD from all of this, and it stems back to losing my mom and how everything happened. But like I've been on this journey now for over 4 years of like learning all about the trenches of mental health. I mean, I went through a week where I was like completely debilitated, and it's like you in that moment, like I couldn't get off the couch. I was just like crying and scared to like go and move, do anything. And I thought like, oh my God, if like I'm around my son, am I going to like hurt him? Like what is happening? And like through the beautifulness of therapy and like specifically therapy that has to do with like OCD and trauma, like I've really learned that like all of, you know, my thoughts that unfortunately like relate to like harm and safety all stem from losing my mom and like seeing how unsafe she was, especially like the day she died. So it's like everything correlates back to each other. And like, just, I thought I was the only person going through it and literally could not have been more wrong, but it's just so hard to see through that. And now I literally started a podcast to talk about. I now speak on the board of tons of postpartum charities and nonprofits and Postpartum International as a survivor, and like just any way that I could help anyone, especially because like, I mean, I know you're a man, but like for women, like postpartum, it's just kind of like always been like a hush hush, or like you only learn about like postpartum depression and like there's so many other things. So that when it happens to a lot of women, we're all like, what's happening to me? And it's just like, no, like this happens, but like no one talks about it. So like, let's have a conversation. And the intersection of trauma with OCD takes it to another level, and grief, because like losing my mom was like just the
big moment,
hardest thing ever. And then I had to become a mom. So like shit, but actually going to dance, that's how I found like going and doing fitness and like dance. There were days and nights when I would be like in the class dancing and I would just like break down hysterically crying because the release was so needed. And I didn't realize how much I needed that until I like took the step forward to start doing it.
Yeah. Liz, it's very brave and big of you to seek out the help.
Thank you.
And take that time to invest in it, because I mean, it takes strength to be vulnerable like that. It's a tremendous amount of strength to do that.
Literally, it really is. Like, you don't realize it until someone says it to you, because you're literally fighting for your life. Like, you're literally fighting. And like, there were nights I was like pushing myself to leave the house, and like I didn't even want to leave my son, and my husband's like, go, like, you know, you're gonna feel better after. And I would like hop in the cold plunge after too.
Nice.
And which was like terrifying to me, but I knew how good that was for your mental health. And I was like, you know, when you're just like focused, you could do anything. And I was like, I'm jumping in this cold. And I would do it for like 6 minutes. And I was like, who am I? And it started becoming a routine. It started becoming a habit. And like that, like those are the things that I like remember in sadness and in strength, because it's like helped me so much to get through. So when I literally saw on your page, like release at Rumble, and you said it before I could even bring it up, I was like, that's what I think of. Like, I literally went right back to like being in class, crying hysterically because I was finally able to release something off my chest that I could not release for like days. And it was like, wow, like I wish everyone knew movement impacts everything.
I entered this year, I still go through therapy. I'm still advocate for naming your critics, identifying your trends and why you feel certain ways. And that's a whole topic in itself. But this year I was aiming for lighter. I wanted to be a lighter year, because I carry a lot of responsibility in my position, a lot of pressure in the position. And I try to show up as a president, as a mayor, as a dad, as a brother, friend, husband, and show for myself. And so wearing all these types of hats, it felt heavy. And so going into 26, something that I've been trying to still work on is different ways to make myself feel lighter. And if it was journaling, if it was meditating, if it was exercise or therapy, walks, going free walks, gratitude, like, I think anyone's listening to this, there's no right or wrong. And there's also not one way to feel lighter. I knew none of these modalities were going to solve the problem. I understood I had to identify the root, and then also just understand how to carry it. It was not like this phone-free walk was going to solve all of the critics in the arena. But if it could help control them, put them in their seats, talk to them and say, hey, listen, I hear you. Yeah. You go back to section 308 and sit down, order your popcorn, because you're not going to take the stage. Because what you're saying about feeling crippled on that couch and not really wanting to get up, everybody has those critics. And I think once they sort of get amplified in that brain and they become the voice, it's really hard to get up and get out, because they're weighing you down. And again, they're still there.
It's a part of it's parts work. Yeah. Like what you're talking about is parts work. What I've learned in therapy, like they're all part of you, but it's like, it doesn't mean it's you. It's just, we have a million different parts. It's learning how to 100%. Get them quieter. I had to do the same. I still do it all the time. That we have to like take a moment and be like, okay, you over there.
Yeah.
We're good.
I mean, if we parallel this to the McDonald's statement when I talk about my scarcity mindset, I'm still working through that mentality. Even the success that I have, I'm always fearful it all could go away and all could be taken away. And working through that with therapy, it's trying to understand, well, where did that come from? How did I see it? My parents were entrepreneurs.
Okay.
And so when I parallel that to conversations I heard growing up about, they were in the daycare business, but, if enrollment was slow or if another company was coming in, like I could hear it. I could see myself in my parents' house. And that now as a parent makes me aware that the voice that I'm putting into my apartment with my wife is what my kids are going to hear 10, 15, 20 years from now. And so how we talk about money or how we talk about stress, that's what they're going to hear. And so how I heard money is what I have rooted in me right now. So I'm working through a relationship with money and a relationship with stress that I saw, and I just thought that's the way it is because I grew up that way.
I get it. My dad was a landscaper. Like my dad was a bus driver for New Jersey Transit, so he was like a state worker, and so was my mom. But he also had a landscaping business on the side. But like when I was little, like 5, he lost his business at first, and my parents were doing talk about hustle. You know how like as a kid you have like a random memory that you remember, but we don't remember much. I still remember opening the garage door and seeing them rolling newspapers because I got a newspaper route. My dad was working at a gas station. He was riding for a limo. My mom was working in office and then in babysitting jobs, and she would take me and my sister when we weren't at school to the babysitting job. Like say we had a day off or something, and like. So I get it. Like everything you're saying, I'm like, I understand because like I remember the stress. Like there was like 1 month they couldn't pay the mortgage, but I was like 5. So
what's a mortgage?
I know. Right. And like I can't now as a parent, I'm like, oh my God.
The stress
how did they
must
feel?
Have been carrying.
Absolutely. And like I just took maternity leave, and as a business owner, you don't get a maternity leave. Okay. That was my second time. I have a husband who works, but like I love making my own money, and not being able to do that I was getting really stressed out, and it was giving me anxiety. Like, oh my God, are we going to be okay? And my husband was like, we're fine. You are literally booked for the rest of the year. It's okay. But like, I was like, but are we sure? Like, so then I started that it's like the OCD in me, like start checking, and then I started thinking about my parents, and I'm like, oh my God, like,
of course.
Like, to me, I just looked at my parents as my parents who took care of me. And, like, they're going to take care of me. And now I'm a parent. And it's like, oh, my God. Like, actually, this is all on us. Like, I get flashbacks. Like you saying that, I was like, oh, my God. Like, I literally, like, see so much.
And it's great because I had an awesome childhood and never wanted for anything, right? So you hear the things and you understand now where your voices came from in just those small situations and habits.
Mm-hmm.
So it really rewires. It takes a lot of time to rewire. And I don't think you're ever fully rewired. I think it's you have enough control of the rewiring.
Yeah, you like learn how to manage.
Right.
Like that's how with my OCD, like there's for mental compulsions, like I went through, it's called the ICBT therapy. So it's like, I still have OCD, but like now I know how to handle it when it comes up. And like, there was a time when I couldn't. So like, at least now we know what to, like, I never thought I would have another child. I was like, I'm not doing this again. And like, we got to the point where I could, and I was like, I did it. And
That's
this
awesome.
time went so much better. And like, I had a scheduled C-section, and it was amazing. And like, I was scared to even talk about how it could go. And like, we really focus in therapy on like, what can you control when you're
Which
going
is pretty much
into
nothing.
it? Exactly. So it was like, the only thing you can control is like how you respond to what's happening. So knock on wood, everything went so lovely.
Great.
But this time around, it completely reopened the grief of losing my mom, because I never got to grieve her with my older son because there was no time.
Correct.
So this time it like ripped me open. The first month was so hard. I think I just cried like all the time, every single day.
Well, I think, not to interrupt you, I think this is because we grew up watching Hollywood show us what grief looked like, or they interpret, in sitting there, the photo albums, I'm crying, I'm not getting up, I've got no responsibilities, or at least I'm not showing them. That's not real life. You know, unfortunately, no one talks about when my dad passed, it went into a survival mode for my mom. My mom's now the queen of the table, and like, we got to make sure she's good. She gets diagnosed with cancer 3 months later. So there was really no grief wave because we're all focused now on, fuck, she's got cancer.
Yeah.
In that few months, yes, you're sad, but you're also like, there's a whole operations
happening
list.
Yeah.
Credit cards, where's the banks, where's this, who do I have to call, I gotta do this, I gotta get this in her name and this, and like, And listen, my parents were fantastic, but like, chicken scratch on the back of an envelope was where there was, I'm like, there was no process.
Yeah.
There was just paperwork randomly. And so you go through this over the next couple months. Like, I need 10 copies of a death certificate to email this person and cancel this. So they're like responsibilities to do when the person passed. I mean, let alone the whole service.
Yeah. But that's like, as you know, nothing. It's like it happens. It's done after 3 days, and then it's like real life settles in, and you have to like actually take care of all the stuff and yourself.
Yeah. But then you gotta like, well, I remember his shoes were by the door, and that's a hard moment.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a simple one that is so vivid. You move them, they're not going back to that spot, and that's where they were.
Yeah.
Aloha! Surfside Smile Co. Pediatric Dentistry and Orthodontics is making waves in Middletown, New Jersey. They specialize in pediatric dental care for the little ones and orthodontic treatments for the whole family, including Invisalign and traditional braces. Guys, I have to tell you, Surfside Smile is Walker, our little one's dentist office, and we love it there, from the amazing staff and the amazing decor, and we can't forget about their awesome golden retriever therapy dog, Penny. They want all of their patients to feel at home. They love getting to know their patients and their unique selves so they can set them up for success. Their goal is to get you smiling, laughing, and wanting to come back. Want to join their ohana? Visit them on their website, surfsidesmileco.com, to get more info about their office and schedule an appointment. Mahalo! I would love to take a moment to share about the Therapy Garden, a neurodiversity affirming therapy practice located in Hazlet, New Jersey. They offer speech therapy, occupational therapy, and community programming for pediatric clients of all abilities, as well as adolescents and adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities. Their work focuses on functional communication, self-advocacy, and real-life skills, and they accept insurance. To learn more, you can follow them at The Therapy Garden NJ on Instagram or visit thetherapygardennj.com. Oh my God, you guys, I'm so excited to introduce you to Paletas and Company, an all-natural ice pop business proudly run by the Davidovich family right here in Monmouth County. Their journey began with a simple but powerful idea: to create a healthier alternative to traditional frozen treats without sacrificing flavor or fun. Paletas and Company's delicious ice pops are free from refined sugars, artificial additives, and food coloring. This makes them the perfect guilt-free indulgence when you're craving something sweet and refreshing. We love Paletas ice pops and get them delivered right to our door. You can use the code Jess Press at checkout to get free delivery. Follow them at Paletas & Co. on Instagram and taste the difference of a truly natural ice pop.
And it's like, fuck, this is real. This is getting real.
Yeah.
And I think just in grief in general, part of me never wanted to be real,
Of course.
or feel real, because then it's closure, right? And for me, it's when he passed in 16, grandma passed in 18, mom passed in 19, pandemic hits in 20.
Yeah.
Part of me feels like that whole era was this blended together. The world shuts down, and they just didn't come out on the other side of this.
Yep.
And that's a very clear before and after, and it sucks because it's like they're not experiencing any of the after and the good of the after, my success of the after, my family of the after, moving, growth, etc. And so it's this weird break in my timeline of life is before and life is after. And I think, okay, they'll come back. But then you get hit with that reality of, nah, it's forever. Like, you're going to turn 55, 62, God willing, 68, 70, they're still not here.
I know. And my mom was only 63. So, like,
Child.
and I think, how about your parents?
66 and 70.
Yeah. Okay. Young.
Yeah.
It's like you think about that and you're like, fuck.
Worst
then
thing
it
to think
leads
about.
into like, I want to be there for my kids, like, as long as possible.
So that's
like,
why we work out.
Yeah.
People ask me what's my goal. I'm like, forget American Gladiators. That's fun. I'm not gonna
that's
live
just
forever.
like a joy.
I just want, yeah. My goal is to become a grandfather, and not just a grandfather that's around, but like I want to run. I want to take sports and teach them baseball. I want to play, be active as I could. I can only do that if I take care of myself now.
Yeah.
So.
And actually, I wrote down one of your quotes was breakthrough. And it's kind of like these breakthrough moments of like, well, we don't know what the future predicts, but just like knowing you could come out through the other side when you go through all of the stuff and like you're a dad. Like you said, you want to be a grandparent. God, me too. And like my mom was already a grandma. I have 2 nephews. So like it makes it hard too. But like I'm hoping, I always say to my older nephew, like, I hope like you can talk to my boys about her. Because he was 10 when my mom passed. So like they had memories for 10 years. They were incredibly close. And it's like, and for me too, like I'm very spiritual, also like very connected. Not everyone's that way, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But like I talk about her all the time. Like I want her memory to be like, I want my kids to know her. And like, I don't know what's going to happen in the future with my dad and like other grandparents, And it's just like having these.
But it's hard. Like, I don't know if you grew up with your grandparents. I grew up with one grandma.
I grew up with one set. Yeah.
One foot. Yeah. So I had grandma and, we would talk about the others, but there's no.
I know.
And it's such a fucking mind fuck to me, because that's what my kids are going to feel with my parents. And my parents are like 90% of my brain. And they're like, they don't even know who they are.
I know. My mom was the most important person in my whole life, besides my husband.
Really trippy.
And like, yeah. Actually, my son the other night, I don't know if you care about astrology or anything like that, but like both my sons, their birthdays are like a week and a half apart. They're both Pisces. I don't know. When's your birthday?
My daughter's a Pisces.
Okay. So Pisces, they're very like emotional. I'm a Sagittarius. Makes sense. Fire sign, creativity, artist, all that cool stuff. But my son, as you know, passed 3 weeks. My mom passed 3 weeks before he was born. The other night, out of nowhere, he just starts crying and asking me about heaven. And he's 4. And he goes, and my mom, like, if she was here, is Jima. Like, there's grandma, grandpa, Jima, and Pa are my parents. And he was like, I miss Jima. I want to go to heaven and see Jima. And I'm just like, and this came out of nowhere. And now, besides the fact that like that's hitting me so hard, I'm like, how do I explain to a 4-year-old? Like that is, I didn't think we had to get there yet. Like I haven't thought about it yet. And I FaceTime my dad and I was like, I don't know, like, can you help me? And my dad actually moved to Florida after my mom passed. He just like wanted a fresh start. So like he's not here, which is hard for me, but like we talk every day in it,
Yeah.
But
that's a hard conversation.
And he was like, she's a part of you. Just it's like I'm here, but like Jima's still here, and like she's up in the clouds in heaven. And then my son asked if we could go look at the sky. And it was like bedtime. So we went and looked at the sky and like pointed to the clouds. And I was just like this literally happened like 4 days ago. And I was like, how, like you're feeling every emotion possible and then trying to like be strong for the little one, because you also don't know how to like explain this to them. And you don't want a 4-year-old to be sad. And you're just like, and these are the conversations that we have to have. Like literally, as you said, your parents, 90% of their brain. Like I think about my mom every day. There's times I'd go and be like, I have to tell her. And it doesn't matter how much time passes, because I have friends whose parents have been gone for 30 years, which is like insane.
Yeah.
And they're like, nope, still happens. Like,
still happens.
And it's just like, like, wait, how old are your kids now?
Presley's 5 and Owen's 18 months.
Okay. So
Presley's asking questions.
Yeah. They're at a certain age, they like start.
Yeah. Well, Disney does their thing. Disney's movies always have that spin on a loss or something, and it gets them pretty early.
Yeah, Disney, like I can't even watch Dumbo. Okay, like I literally won't. If my son ever wants to watch that because he's obsessed with animals, I watch it. That and Bambi. No, that affects me. I think it's because it's animals. Like that affects me more than like
Cinderella when her dad passes away and she already doesn't have a mother. Like there's always a parent missing, if not both.
I know.
Like Frozen, both of them too. Like it's really
Crazy.
Disney really fucks with you. Like, wow. But yeah, it's just like, but having these conversations and like you and I are sitting here talking about this, and it's like that's all we could do at the end of the day. And like it makes me sad when people don't want to talk about it and like don't want it, because that just like you're never gonna release it ever. And like I'm still sad every single day, and I still struggle every day. But like, oh my God, does it feel so much better to have a conversation?
And grief is interesting because it's going back to that Hollywood picture we were painting and grieving period. Like my dad will be 10 years in July, and I'll still get hit with that wave at 4 p.m. on a Tuesday.
Yep.
And I'm now crippled from work, but I still got to function as a dad. And like that's a hard piece where, you know, thankfully my relationship with Julie is fantastic. Where like she'll know if I need my moment, I'll go for a walk or something.
Yeah.
But it's like I just say, let's call time out on the play. And it could have been anything. It could have been a song, it could have been a smell, it could have been a thought, it could have been a picture popped up, whatever case. If that wave hits you, and it hits you,
oh yeah,
when you least expect it. People like always reach out, which is I love, and I reach out to a lot of friends that are in the same boat on holidays that, you know, Father's Day just passed,
yep,
Mother's Day, things like that. And I'm always, you know, thinking of you and it's mutual, etc. Those holidays aren't as hard. Maybe because I'm bracing for the storm, I have my umbrella, but it could be that random Tuesday where like you reach to call them. Like,
yep,
that's the moment.
But like we don't know when our friends and stuff all of a sudden have that moment. So like it's just like typical that like that's the day. And like unfortunately, most of my friends have lost either one or both of their parents. So, and I hate that like they had to go through that before me or after me, but I'm just like grateful. Like it sounds like fucked up, but you know, like grateful to like have someone to talk to that like understands what I'm talking about.
That's a very key point. And I guess hopefully this hits somebody.
Yeah.
I was the first in my crew.
Okay.
And I had a lot of resentment. Maybe I was just angry at the whole situation, but I remember specifically at all of my friends because they didn't, maybe my expectations of what showing up should have looked like. And in hindsight, like they did, and they showed up in ways that they thought were the right way. But when you're not from that moment, you don't know how to help. You don't know what to say. You don't know how much is too much. You don't know when to just show up, when to take you out for a cheeseburger. Like there's no playbook on how to be a friend because your friend just lost a parent.
Yeah.
And so I had that, and I'm like, empathy later on to understand they didn't know.
I know.
They didn't know.
I know. And it's hard because it's like, we just want to like shake people and be like, you know, even like I've had people say to me like, my first Mother's Day was really hard. My mom wasn't here. And to this day, it's still really hard. And like you're saying, like leading up to it, you're like, ugh, and then the day comes and it's like, it's okay. Like it was fine.
It's a Sunday.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, I treat it as any other day. Even like Christmas is hard, but I try to like make it more about like how much my mom and I loved Christmas and like doing Christmas stuff together. But like the first 2 or 3, I think it was kind of only this year that I was like, okay, I kind of like Christmas again.
Yeah.
But like
the magic is different though.
Totally. But I've had friends say to me like, but you're a mom. Like now it's your holiday. And I'm like, yeah, you just like don't get it.
Yeah, I didn't sign up for the role.
Yeah.
Like knowing I was
also,
leaving.
Like then I'm really jealous that you don't get it. Like I'm like I wish I didn't get it too. And I don't know if it's, and I'm not trying to like toot my own horn, but like I've never been like ignorant in that way. Like I've been around a lot of loss and like seen a lot of friends lose loss. So like I have always been very cautious with the things I say, even if I can't say anything. Like all I can say is just like, I am so sorry. Like I literally don't even know what to say to you. And you know, as someone who's lost, like there's nothing to say except like this fucking sucks. Like
yes,
this blows. And when
but
people
you mentioned
try
something
to like,
about that.
Yeah, like try to like make it better. I'm like, no, just stop.
You mentioned when I was talking about the shoes and or how it happens after operationally, it's a few days later. That's typically when I reach out. And by design, I give them their space. I know they're crowded, hopefully with family and friends and all the things. And it's a week later, I'll send them, something heartfelt, but it's, I understand that now is the moment when the house is now empty.
Yep.
And now your reality is set in. Because at first it's like shock, regardless of if you see it coming. It's you're fucking busy. You got all this. People sending food, people flowers. Like it's a week later when you're like,
that was one of my hardest things. Yeah, it's like because people stop reaching out.
Their
and
life
then you
goes
just
on.
move on with life. And it's like you can't fault them because like their life.
They have their own fight, like we talked about.
But it's like you just
well, that's like typically when I try to be the friend and say like, I know that the reality is your life is different right now, and you're probably feeling it more differently than you did when all of your aunts, uncles, cousins, friends were gathering around. Like now it's empty. But
well, like you were saying about your wife, my husband Nick is the same. Like he literally could just look at me and like knows, and he'll be like, "Where are we? Scale of 1 to 10. Like you want to go like in the other room? You want to go upstairs?" And I'm like, "Oh my god, thank you." Like, but like not everyone, and it took 10 to get to that point with us too. Like for him to like understand as much as he can because he has.
Does he have his parents?
He does, but his parents are also like cancer survivors. My dad's a cancer survivor too, so like all of our parents have had cancer.
Oof. Which so makes we've been through fearful of your own health, right?
Exactly, of course.
Fucking beast that just needs to be evaporated.
So he's been in the grief of that and not knowing, and like my dad, both our dad's prostate, his mom breast. My mom was endometrial uterine, and it was super rare. Wait, your dad was a fluke, right?
Heart attack,
fluke.
Right?
Yeah, okay.
Well, fluke in the sense of unexpected.
Yes, exactly. And your mom, do you mind if I ask?
Pancreatic.
Okay. And I mean,
who went in to talk about health? Like she went in thinking she had a hernia after dad passed. She's like, I need to be around. I want to do a checkup, and she wasn't feeling good. And then we got the news like Thanksgiving.
Oh my God, that's when I got the news about my mom. It was Thanksgiving. That's crazy. It was 2018.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mom battled, right? 2018 or 2019. It was, I don't know, one of those. She was like 2.5 years, 20, something like that. But literally, I didn't see her for Thanksgiving. She had a hysterectomy in the city, and the day before Thanksgiving. Like she literally found out like 2 days before. They did an emergency, and her and my dad stayed in Manhattan for like the whole weekend. But that's crazy that.
Yeah.
Wait, what was your mom's name?
Jerry.
Okay, how about your dad?
Billy.
Okay, my mom was Joanne. But like anytime anyone says like Joe, Joey, like nicknames, like it just like hits. Like we named my son Colton Joe, middle name Joe for her, since we don't have a girl, so it's in that way. And then my son Walker was already Walker Leo, so and like she bought him things that said his name. So I was like, we're not changing it. It's 3 weeks. Like that's what it is. But tried to give back in that way, that little
yeah.
But yeah, and like. So for you, probably Thanksgiving is probably hard. Like, does that come up? Like the body remembers everything.
Yeah, of course. It was the first Thanksgiving, maybe it was 2017. That was the first diagnosis. 2018, she was doing fine. I'm sorry. 2017, 2018, she was doing fine. Like that year, she was doing really well. That first year.
Yeah.
2018, he called us. I was living in LA. Me and Julie were in LA.
Oh, wow.
And we opened up that studio. We're living the high life. Cancer's getting tamed. We're feeling okay. Doctor calls us. I was like, all right, I'll be home on the next flight. I flew home. I think it was Black Friday. And I never flew back. And we told her on the Sunday. So we didn't want to tell her the bad news that it was back, because you could tell when the doctor told us that he didn't like what has happened.
Yeah.
So we told her. And that just spiraled the next 12 months, a really hard 12 months. And that following Thanksgiving was the last. It was November 19th or 18th, which is so coincidental. It's World Pancreatic Day.
Oh my God.
So
that's wild. Yeah.
But Thanksgivings were 3 in a row, a little bit of
One of my best friends from college, her mom passed from the exact same cancer as my mom 1 year before.
Oof.
Like, wild. Like, it's very crazy. Like, this
It's also
world.
because, I mean, people you hear
Yeah.
have it.
Mm-hmm.
And like, that's the mind fuck of itself. It's just
Yeah.
like, there's so many people, all ages,
Mhm.
races,
Yeah.
bank
It doesn't matter.
accounts. Doesn't matter.
No discrimination when it
I
comes
mean,
to
look at Steve Jobs. Like, you
Yeah.
know,
Mhm.
it just really, it's an unfair beast,
Yes.
but it's fair in the sense that it doesn't care who you are.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I like that. I don't like that, like what it means, but like I like the way you just said it. Well, that was deep and necessary, but I loved it. Like that was so great to talk about. And then we can wrap it up because I usually try to keep it at like this amount of time anyway. But pivoting. So wait, you went through all of this and Rumble was still your whole life as well.
Oh my God. When I signed my offer letter, it was the day my dad died. So that was it was like, I got the offer, I told him about it, and we were going to go through back on some terms. He was in Atlantic City with my mom celebrating their 50th anniversary. And my Aunt Janet, me and my fiance, Julie at the time, were filling out engagement card party invitations.
Yeah.
We go to bed, get a phone call, and then that's when
Yeah.
life changed. But yeah, it was the start of that. So mom being mom saying like, you got to continue to pursue this, which meant me moving to Manhattan, which meant me leaving all my endeavors in Jersey and leaving her. And that was a hard thing for me as a son to just be like, am I being selfish? But mom being mom saying like, you've worked your ass off to get a seat at this table. You've got to bet on yourself. You got to do this. I'm fine. And so I took that jump, moved to Manhattan. Julie and I got married a little bit later that year. We built our first studio, 23rd Street. And after that, there was about 10 or 12 openings, and Julie and I moved to all of these cities and opened the studios. So we were living an awesome life. I mean, the time of just training celebrities, living in different cities, meeting all these new people. And then, you know, a lot of the yin to the yang of life. Like, I was in the hospital when we lived in DC, I don't think I stayed a weekend in DC because every time I was done with work, I was home.
Yeah. Where was she at? Like Rutgers? You said New Brunswick. Was it the?
We were there quite a bit when it was, you know, everything.
I get it. I mean, I live in Middletown, and my mom was at the Sloan in Middletown all the time. So yeah, and then she passed away at Riverview, and that's only like 5 minutes from my house, because Sloan has a wing there. So it's like weird too, because like I'm always in Red Bank and I'm like always driving past it. And my apartment, I had an apartment in Red Bank and it was literally like 2 blocks away from there. So it's just like very strange. It's weird. I don't get like she died there. It's just like a weird like, right, that happened. Like like it's just like a strange
we went back to Atlantic
thing.
City first time. Julia ran a half marathon. We went back 6 months ago. I haven't been there now 9+ years. I would refuse to go there. It was too scene of the crime. Like we drove down from Monroe Township down to Atlantic City at like midnight when we found the news. And when I was driving, I didn't know he was dead. Julia took my mom off Bluetooth in the car and held that news and didn't tell me to protect us, obviously, because I was behind the wheel. So she's carrying this news the hour and a half. And I get to the hospital and I find out and all of that. But moral of the story was we just go to Atlantic City in October. She runs this race. I almost I saw the hospital and she was, you know what that is? And I'm like, no, like I know who it is, but I never was there. Like it was almost like an out of body. He died there? Like no concept of where I was. And sure enough, that was the hospital. But like to your point, you're like,
I know the hospital. I know the one there. Yeah. My mom like wouldn't tell me anything. Like I was so pregnant and my mom like didn't want to tell me anything. She would even like hide like appointments because she was just like being such a mom and like didn't want and wanted to protect me at all costs. Like she found out like 3 days before she passed away. They like gave her like a month. And I didn't even know. I didn't find out until like I went to the hospital like 3 days later and got the call from my dad to come like immediately. She was on hospice for like 4 hours.
It was like, it happened so fast. But I'm also like, I have to be honest, getting that call that she passed was like the biggest relief I think I've ever felt, because the thought of having her go through the pain that I saw her in she was in so much pain. It's still like a PTSD thing, seeing her talk to me and not knowing who I was, but like talking to me. Like, I was like, oh my God, I'm just so happy that like she doesn't have to live through
Yeah.
that.
Look, there was a part of me that was relieved she passed before COVID.
Oh my, I mean,
I hate to say it, but like,
understand. I don't understand, but I understand.
I don't have to deal with that logistical. Like, I can't imagine families dropping them off to go
I
to
know.
treatment without it, or not being able to go because of protocols. Like,
Yeah,
oof.
I know. My mom was going through it during, but it was like my dad was still able to go in with
Yeah.
her, but everything was masked, and like,
Yeah.
it was still that kind of crazy scenario. But yeah, just wild. Life is wild, Andy. But Rumble's been through this. You've been through Rumble.
I've been with Rumble, yes.
Through all of it.
We say peaks and valleys.
Yeah, so like literally, it's been one of your biggest constants.
It has. It's been an anchor for me, and a place for me to release and connect with so many people, and opportunity to just inspire. Like, I go back to, like I said, I get on that microphone and educate somebody on how to box or lift weights. Great, but if I can inspire you to understand that life is short, and if there's one thing that you could do to take care of it, take care of yourself so you can take care of everybody else.
I love that.
But
well,
it's heavy.
That is an amazing way to wrap this up. My last question for you is, any hopes for the future? Anything exciting coming up for you for Rumble or just in family life?
Pursuing this feeling of lighter for me and for anybody that's listening. I just, I don't expect life to get easier. I don't want it to be. I just want to carry the shit lighter. And that means making myself not just physically stronger, but mentally stronger.
Love it. And tell everyone again where to follow you on social.
At Andrew G. Stern. I'm happy to talk to anybody looking to break into the fitness industry. If I could be a mentor to you, or just want to talk about grief, fatherhood, or American Gladiators, I'm here for it.
Yes. This was literally one of my favorite conversations I've ever had. I have to be totally honest with you. Like, this hit so hard. Like, there were so many times I was like, oh, it happens, right? I wrote that down. It happens. That's what's on the page, yes. Right? I can't thank you enough.
Thank you.
And that's it for this week. Thanks so much for tuning in for another week of some awesome small business owners. If you like this podcast, please rate, review, and subscribe. Getting a 5-star review on Apple, Spotify, or YouTube is so important for people to be able to find this podcast. So if you like this, you can keep following me at the Jess Press and at Jess Press Play Pod on Instagram, and I'll catch you next week.